Hello, my name is Virgil Dismeyer. I will be your SCORE host and topic presenter today. I have been a SCORE counselor for 16 years and a small business owner for 10. As a result, I have a feel for the uncertainty you may have about using this modeling tool. A major service of SCORE is business plan counseling. A major need of many clients is a basic, convincing business plan. Our task today is to make drafting a business plan easier with guidelines from our counseling experience. This is a recap of what we will discuss. Our focus is on why you need a plan, what a typical plan contains, comments on terminology, and a suggested process for you to gather the data that is needed to complete the text and data sections of your plan. Everyone talks about a business plan, but don't really grasp the impact it can have on a new entrepreneur's success. The points on this slide state the obvious for the new business dreamer. The second point bears emphasis. It is a roadmap for your journey. This is true whether you need funding or you plan on being self-funded. You would not start a vacation without a map. So why start a new chapter of your life without a map of where you want to go? So why plan? Simply put, it is a tool to explain your ideas to others. You must have a plan to obtain bank financing or investment capital. It provides a post in the ground to measure your progress and point out problem areas. And finally, it is a benchmark for your future planning for this business. Over the years, these 6 components evolved as a consensus amongst bankers, investors, and professionals on what a business plan should contain. If you want much more detail, then click the Elements List link on the screen. But the real challenge is not what should be in the business plan, but the complexity and the relationships of these parts to each other. We will comment on each of these segments briefly. This section gives a reader a quick idea of why you are in business, what you hope to achieve, and the values of your business idea. Preceding these statements is usually an executive summary, which recaps the plan for a quick grasp of what you are all about. The executive summary is written last. Your statement of strategy spells out the need you expect to fill and what that need is perceived to be. You should assess the industry trends, its profitability, and the life cycle of the existing options for your customers. If your idea involves intellectual property, you should spell out the status of your patent, trademarks, and so forth. A business model is a way that a company generates revenues and profits. A particular business model can be thought of as the prototypical operational framework repeated in the business plans of other companies of the same type in the same industry. For instance, magazine publishers generally operate according to the subscription business model. You will encounter the word niche in your planning. A market niche is a subset of a larger market with similar needs and characteristics. Here you will spell out your customers' demographics, sex, age, marital status, numbers, and so forth. Competitors. What business model do they follow? Who and where are they? What is their web strategy? Geographic boundaries spell out if you are a local, national, or international company. Different boundaries will dictate what marketing channels you use, such as print, radio, TV, internet, local search marketing, and so forth. But sales potential is the most difficult part of your planning. What is a realistic percentage of the niche that you can expect to attract as customers? You may have to project high, low, and most realistic potential to grasp what is involved to produce the volumes needed to generate a profit. Finally, spell out your pricing strategy. But being the cheapest is not always a good strategy. The operations section of the plan spells out how you will provide the service or product you are offering. What type of corporate entity will you adopt? LLC, S Corp, partnership, or C Corp? Will you be a business-to-business or business-to-consumer? Will you manufacture the product, only assemble it, or buy the complete product for resale? If you are an internet company, will you fill the orders yourself or use a fulfillment center offered by third parties? You might call this the nuts and bolts of delivering your business model. It is important for the readers of your plan to know the depth and breadth of your business team. Experience and background of yourself and key employees are key pieces of information upon which they may make a decision. Small companies may have to outsource some skill needs to third parties like accounting or payroll. So any consultants you use may add to the strength of your talent pool. Can I make money? This is the big question when you draft the financial forecast. Now, to answer the question for your model, do a financial plan. This section is generally based upon the use of Microsoft Excel spreadsheets with built-in formulas and relationships. These 5 statements listed on the screen are common to all plans. SCORE, SBA, and others have spreadsheet templates to help make these calculations and statements easy to compile. It takes some knowledge of accounting to understand these statements and their role in investor-lender decision-making. If accounting terms are strange to you, then you may want to consider taking our free webinar called Accounting for Non-Accountants. To evaluate your plan, numbers, use comparisons based upon the NAICS code, formerly called the SIC code. These are government compilations of actual ratios from existing companies in a certain sector of the economy. These may be found in the RMA compilations, and they can be found in many local libraries. You might also find some answers at www.bizstats.com. What's next? This is a repeat of the What You Will Learn slide that we opened with. Anyone doing a business plan needs to recognize it requires a lot of data and analytical input. The following slides are intended to help you cut your trial and error research to the minimum. There is so much free help available to help you draft a business plan that it is difficult to pick sources to cite. The 5 sources above are generic to any part of the country and easily accessible. Any one of these sources might serve you well in your business plan development. This slide is very important. It emphasizes that any plan has 2 major components. There is the narrative part, which follows the content slide shown earlier. This can be done in a Word document. The financial part is all data, numbers, and ratios. Usually, this is done in an Excel spreadsheet. Some of the software tools integrate these 2 parts with graphs and charts. These steps are those that we, as SCORE volunteers, have found helpful. And you might find them helpful as the steps to follow in your development. Prepare yourself before starting your draft. Use all free resources available. Learn the basics of the software to be used. Input your first draft and print for review. Gather data to fill the voids and redo your draft. Finally, evaluate your funding needs and compare to RMA statistics. You will quickly learn that a good plan is a result of a series of iterative steps and cannot be completed in one session. We mentioned pre-planning preparation. The first step is to ground yourself in the topic of business plans and educate yourself on what is needed and what you are trying to do. The first item is key. Define your product and market niche. Most new businesses are an adaptation of something already being done, not a completely new concept. Build on others' approach. Anyone new to business planning should look at one or more actual plans of real businesses available at bplans.com. You can search by product or concept and find something similar to your new business concept. Pay particular attention to the marketing section of any plan you review, because that will be the hardest, as you will find out. Document your investment to date, which can become your equity contribution in the funding needs of your new company. Likewise, document what you already own, like the equipment, patents, inventory, and so forth, that you will invest in or transfer to your new entity. And remember, most startup costs can be deducted on the enterprise's future income tax returns. The Internet will prove invaluable for anyone developing a business plan. Plus, most entities will need some form of Internet presence as part of their marketing strategy. Look at what others are doing. How are they pricing their products and the range of options they offer? Look up trade associations for segments of the economy in which you will be operating to find sources of statistics, trends, and so forth. As you browse the Internet, watch for competitors who do a good job of presenting their products. Make screenshots of those sites as a reservoir of ideas for when you develop your own site. Social media may or may not be a part of your marketing strategy, but at least check out what is available and what your competitors may be doing and using. The Internet will be great for your research, but don't overlook your free local library. Not only do they have books and various services, but they have live librarians that can steer you to resources you could easily overlook. Personally, I like to browse the library and their databases from home on my own time schedule. All it takes is a library card. One of the most useful business planning tools is the library's various databases they have available. Reference USA is a database with statistics on individual households as well as the business community. Since you can search by zip code, city, county, and so forth, you can determine the demographics of your proposed market niche. Startups in the Twin Cities may also find studies by the Metropolitan Council helpful. Every business is assigned a 6-digit NAICS code so the government can compile statistics. You must determine your industry code in order to use some of the other tools like Reference USA or the RMA risk statistics. Describe your business to the government website above and it will find your code. Use that same code on all official documents, especially tax returns. Finally, a good business plan can be tested against the norm for that industry with the RMA statistics. Most Excel spreadsheets will incorporate a plan analysis where these statistics will be used to evaluate the reasonableness of your projections. There are many ways to draft a business plan, starting with a basic Word document all the way to an integrated piece of software like Palo Alto software has to offer. Because of the variety of options and the popularity of Business Plan Pro, we have chosen to use that piece of software as a basis for our illustrations. If you decide to forego a complete business plan, as a minimum, you should at least prepare financial projections with an Excel spreadsheet. An Excel spreadsheet will incorporate formulas to integrate results from one worksheet, say sales projections, into the overall profit and loss projections. And by projecting different rates of inflation, sales growth, or funding levels, you can really play what if with your idea. This is a shot of Business Plan Pro, which is one of the most popular planning tools. It can be found on the Internet, at discount markets in your community, and software stores. By installing it on your PC, you can update your plan as conditions change. It integrates your textual statements with graphs and the Excel spreadsheet templates. This is a reasonable startup cost to help you assess what could become a new career. Palo Alto Software has introduced an online version of their planning software. This allows you to work on or present your plan wherever you have internet access. It has basically the same features as the desktop version. This license is available through many SCORE chapters at a reduced price for up to 6 months. The financial statements include the projected profit and loss, cash flow statement, and balance sheet. Since these are accounting-oriented, we have 2 other webinars which may help you grasp the basic content of the business plan statements. One we have mentioned earlier called Accounting for Non-Accountants. The second is Understanding Financial Statements. We have discussed using and learning Excel on previous slides. This screen illustrates a complete Excel workbook available from the SCORE.org national website. It has over 20 worksheets which feed off of each other. As you enter numbers into the 6 basic input screens, the results are then used to generate the 3-year projections of profit and loss, cash flow, and balance sheet. It will also highlight when your startup funding becomes inadequate. We have these hints that may be helpful, which also comes from our counseling experience. Our counselors advise new entrepreneurs to not get hung up on phraseology or numbers in the first draft. Just input your data and ideas. Then look at the results and go back and modify. As we said earlier, it's an iterative process, and you will be modifying it at least 2 or 3 times before you will be satisfied with your final product. With those hints, good luck. Well, this is about all the time we have for this topic. We have tried to anticipate the questions you might have as this presentation was made. But you might think of other issues later. If so, and you have a general question, find your local Minnesota SCORE chapter and ask one of their counselors for local support. Our SCORE counselors may be able to help you refine a question or review your draft, or they may know of local resources that could help you. On a national level, use the SCORE Find a Chapter tab to find your local chapter in some other state and set up a relationship with them. It is assuring to have someone else to discuss your plan with and review it. Finally, we have a special email address dedicated to your needs. We will attempt to answer your questions or refer you to a source which other viewers have found helpful. We will answer via email or Skype. These are our standard disclaimers. All content in these webinars is strictly for training and comparison purposes to help the viewer understand how to use technology and the internet to advance their business goals. SCORE does not endorse any vendors, and those discussed in this presentation are for examples only. Screenshots used in the presentation are also for illustration only. Screens by other vendors or other products will appear different than what we have shown. Finally, we want to thank those who made this webinar possible. You've become acquainted with me. I am a SCORE volunteer with 16 years counseling experience in both a face-to-face and online areas. Palo Alto Software was generous in allowing us to use screenshots of their products. Veritas Marketing, who provides us technical advice so we maintain consistency and quality in each of our webinars. And finally, SPEDCO, whose funding makes these educational opportunities a reality. We hope these few minutes have been helpful. With that, goodbye and good luck as you move forward.
Thank you. Please stand by.